books say that the one area, even with the e-books, the one area of sales that has held its own and is still growing is the children's book. And I think part of that is because of the visual literacy and the richness that you get. We're living really in a golden age for children's literature, and the quality of the artwork and the illustrations is really of a wonderful, wonderful high quality. And you don't get that as much when you see it kind of flattened out on a screen. So I think there's a place for the ebook, but I think reading with a child, looking at wonderful art and illustrations that either move the story or work with words is still very, very vibrant and very, very important as far as our students are concerned. Starting after the World War II, really the 60s, and with civil rights movement, children's literature really began to develop its breadth. And as we moved in society to be a more diverse society and to expand the rights of groups of people, children's literature moved along with those movements. So you will see, starting in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, a much greater diversity of who appears in stories. We had one little period where people were a little afraid of diversity, so we had a lot of bunnies and bears. We moved past that, and so now I think all of our children can find books where people like them are reflected in the stories, and that's been an important change and growth. Sometimes in schools we've done something, and I've worked with teachers in schools, that has not been very positive. We tend to take some subjects and we analyze them. I call it death by analysis. We decontextualize them, we take them out of context, and we just analyze until we take all of the beauty and the appreciation out of them. And our job is, how many of you think you're artists now? Okay, this is a pretty special group. Usually if I ask that in kindergarten, every hand goes up because everybody's an artist. And unfortunately, by 4th or 5th grade, when I ask that, I get fewer and fewer hands. That's sad. We call that in academia the U theory. And you start out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, very creative and uninhibited, and consider yourself an artist, and then you begin to literally lose your you, and we go down the side of the U. So it's very, very important not to lose it, and if you have started to lose it, to regain the sense of you. And wonderful children's literature and illustration and appreciation of the beauty and the art is one important way we can do that. Sometimes in schools, art is considered ornamental rather than fundamental, and it is a fundamental way of knowing and expressing what you know. What do you look at first when you look at any kind of visual image? What are you drawn to?
Color.
Okay, color would definitely be one, wouldn't it? So we would look and we'd begin to notice color. What else?
Style.
Style. Style. And what do you mean by style?
How they do it. The shape.
Okay, the shape of things. What else would go into the style, maybe?
How they dress.
Okay, how they dress. So we might notice if we've got figures in our illustrations, what the dress is, and that would give us a lot of information, wouldn't it? So it's important for the artists to pay attention to that if they have people, and particularly if they're doing, when you're talking about style, a realistic style. It might be a realistic, and it might not be. Okay, what else?
Subject matter. Subject matter.
Subject matter, okay. What have they chosen for the illustration, and kind of the composition of what they've chosen, where they've placed it. So we said color, we said shape, we said composition. What else would be very strong?
Tone.
Tone. What does tone mean?
Well, for me, like if I look at, is his name Chapman? I don't know how to say his last name. I mean, when you look at his work, it's very moody. It's very interesting. It sort of draws you in an interesting way. And then you can look at some of the others, I don't know her name, Sylvia something.
Sylvia
Long.
And I mean, it's very happy and playful, and so playful versus, as I said, moody. That's a tone to me.
Okay, so for the art, very, very important for setting the mood and the tone of a story. That can be conveyed visually sometimes in a way. It can either enhance the words or it really can set the mood and the tone even without words. Can't it? Okay, what else?
Design.
Design. All right, and we just have exciting children's design in children's literature. What do you think of when you think of the design?
Well, how you place everything. Does the illustration bleed to the edge? Is it just a little vignette with a lot of text? Is there a lot of white space?
Okay, so as a language, added something that is done through the image.